Wow, 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 wow,
We
wow.
did it. It's so good to
Once
see
again,
you.
once again, always a surprise when we do it every
We
single
do
week
it
with,
every time.
well, not every time, obviously, but most of the time. Anyways, hello.
Hello.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday. Happy most kids are off school. Today is their last day.
Uh, you know, how nice it is
Mhm.
to be around the holidays. Welcome to another. I'm so tired. I'm not gonna lie. I went to go see. I went to go see. What's it called? The new Spider-Man movie last night.
Oh, I heard it's so good.
It's so good. It's so good. So
So welcome. We're happy to have you. Welcome to Your Favorite Ants, a show where we basically become your favorite relatives. That's like our
yeah,
entire
we're
agenda.
here. We're here to talk shit and get hit. We're here to fuck around and find out. I am one of
Have you
your.
seen that? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna introduce myself as
Oh,
I am
yes.
here. I am your favorite aunt. I am the I am what's it? I am Diane Keaton in The Family Stone.
Oh, I love it. And I don't know why, but I just feel like I am your Aunt Joy Fatone. I don't know why. I think it's your jacket that's giving me some Joy Fatone vibes. But I feel like I needed to say that.
I
So
like that. I
mhm.
interrupted your thought though. What were you about to say?
Have you seen it's a great t-shirt. It has Dolly Parton on it. It says fuck around and find out. She's holding a shotgun.
Absolutely. You know what? She probably authorized that as
Oh no,
well.
it is 100% unauthorized image.
Yeah, love that.
Love her.
But welcome to the third Friday of Advent if you're keeping liturgical score at home.
Which of course you are,
Yeah.
obviously.
Finally set up a tree in my home
And
right
it's
here.
cute.
Yeah. How has your week been? How the hell are you, Sarah Louisa Jane Heath? And if you're watching live on the stream, go ahead and
Tell us
say
how you're
hey.
doing.
Yeah.
Shane says greetings. I'm doing really well. The reason we had to start early, which I'm sorry, fans, for those of you.
Why are you
Well,
sorry for doing the thing we needed to do?
okay, good point. I have a foot injury, and so I'm going to the podiatrist. But why I feel like I'm in such a good mood is that after resting and taking the advice of my favorite aunt Kevin, I didn't run a half marathon, which meant I rested my foot for a very long time from having plantar fasciitis. And guess what?
Hmm.
Like 3 days ago, more than that, like 5 days ago, I woke up with zero pain in my foot. And there was a big run on Wednesday, and I was like, Tuesday, woke up, zero pain, did my workout that doesn't involve running. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, I think I can run. So guess what? Wednesday night, it was our holiday run. I dressed up as like I dressed up as like an entire gingerbread person. It was so much fun. And I thought, you know what? I'm gonna start running. And if I can't run, it's fine. I ran 5.7 miles pain free. And it was like as a boat parade was going by. So we run this direction, the boat parade goes this direction. And we were
Mm-hmm.
making everybody in the audience like smile and laugh. And people stand on their decks and they're like, gingerbread. And like little kids were like, run as fast as you can. Like it was
Because
so,
you were the gingerbread man.
yes, it was so much fun. And I think it just sort of set the tone because it was a really busy week. I had a lot of really great work stuff. But it
Mm-hmm.
meant like, I don't know, it just gave me kind of a lift that I could do the thing that I love so much. And the other thing is, I started playing guitar again, which it,
Because those
it
damn guitars been sitting on your damn side table
well,
for how long?
I know, and I used to play guitar, and it used to be something that I love to do, but I've had a lot of like nerve. I don't know how many of you have a hobby that you are nervous that you're going to suck at, and I'm a 3 on the Enneagram, so we don't like to suck at things or do things we suck at. So I ended up meeting up with a friend of mine. He's an older gentleman that used to go to the church that I used to work at, and he still goes to that church. And we just like shot the shit and played old rock together. And he taught me some theory, and like he let me be bad and let me it's hard to play an F when you haven't played guitar in like 6 years. So
Listen, as someone who I still can't play an F. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not good at guitar. at all.
That's so hard for me to believe because you're such a good musician. We were
No, no,
actually
no.
this is a conversation
Piano,
you and I had this week.
piano, everything. Yes, I can get through that. Singing, yes. Can I direct a band? Can I transpose on the spot? Yes, I can do all that stuff. But actually executing anything besides voice and piano, don't count on it, baby.
Well,
Not for me.
it was a joy to be terrible at something and have someone be so gracious about it. So, I also have this thing where I literally love hanging out with folks who are from a different generation than me, and this man and his wife are just so great. And he has this really cool studio in the back with all these different guitars. So we just sat around and like played, John Lennon and just like had so
Hmm.
much fun. And it was such a nice grounding experience. So I'm doing pretty well. It's been a lot of late nights. I went paddleboarding last night, and the Christmas tree is the most California thing you can do. I went out into the
Mm.
ocean with my paddleboard, and there are all these Christmas trees that are on the water in the bay, and we just like paddled around it, and then we got real weird and went to a restaurant in our like super weird costumes. So it's like 2 nights in a row I was wearing really weird Halloween costume or Christmas costumes. But I have to show you this. This is the Christmas shirt I've been wearing since I was like 12.
What am I looking at?
It's like a skull with a Santa hat, and it says "You be a Claus." And if you guys remember 1994, this was the look, and I still have the shirt. So,
I love that.
yeah.
Congratulations on wearing something vintage.
How the hell are you?
Mostly delightful. I've had a pretty phenomenal and delightful week. Well, I mean, actually, like it's been weird. It's like my car drama is almost complete.
Woohoo!
I'm still dealing. They still have my car at that place in Florida, and I'm like, why isn't anybody calling me back? And so I'm a little.
I mean,
That's.
Florida's a little busy because of the guy who wore underwear on his face and tried to claim it was a mask. So they've been busy.
I mean, they're always busy with people like that. I don't. I think
Florida,
that's like
man.
that's called a Tuesday for them. Um, but besides that small little inconvenience, I'm pretty thankful and joyful. My aunt is loaning me her car, and it's the same car I drove when I had my learner's permit 17 years ago.
It's still going.
160,000 miles, baby.
That was
Still
like my
working.
Subaru. What kind of car is it?
A oh my god, a Chevy some weird E word.
Okay,
Entourage?
sure.
Encourage? It's an orange little sedan. It's easily 20 years old. It looks like a Halloween Town car, and it has a CD player.
I
No
think
aux cord.
I told you about the game we used to play with my friends from West Hollywood where you say anal before the name of the car. So like anal escape, anal entourage, anal, and it just
Anal
makes
accord.
anal accord. It just makes you laugh so hard. It's like
Anal
the most
element.
immature. So I'll be driving by myself and be like,
Anal escalade.
anal ram. Anyway,
Anal ram.
welcome to your favorite ants.
Yeah,
So how are our fans? What are we calling niblets?
I'm not calling anyone
Okay,
ever a goddamn niblet. Okay, let us
you're
know in the
just you.
comments. I don't like it, and I put it on Twitter, and I asked people. I don't want to. So the gender expansive and or gender neutral term for niece or niece
Nephew
or nephew.
or
Pe-
non-binary.
yeah, it's the like call them nibblings.
Nibblings, that was it.
And it was like it's like nephew and niece, but a siblings like a nibbling. I'm like, no, because it sounds like I'm nibbling on something. I'm eating something. And nibbling is something. That's what I'm doing when I'm
I don't
nibbling.
like that sound.
If I'm nibbling on somebody's ear, that's what I'm doing.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of.
I
My
love that
favorite
that's where you
one
went.
that I liked that someone said I'm just referring to all of them as my heirs since I'm not going to have any living children of my own.
Oh my God, that's 100% what we're calling people. Our
Oh yeah,
heirs.
I'm like these are my heirs. These are the heirs to my great fortune I'll have.
Yes, you guys, you are
Um,
our heirs because we don't have kids.
and I never want them. I never want to have kids. Oh,
Looks like people are actually talking about how guitar. Someone said they got in an argument, and it's hard to play music sometimes without it bringing up all sorts of emotions. Oh, interesting. The last instrument you played. Everyone says they're
I,
doing
I
pretty
was talking.
well. Go ahead.
Say
Sorry.
what?
It sounds like everyone seems like they're doing pretty well.
I mean,
This
as good as we can be, getting into this world of trouble that we're living in.
mm, yes. Yes, it's true. Um, I'm trying to read. Sierra says she'll respond to, or they'll respond to dumpling. Oh, they want to be called dumpling.
Dumpling. I mean, that's fine. That's like
I
a
still
cute
like
pet
airs.
name.
Yeah, I
I
like
like
airs.
heirs. Someone said aunt, like just like if they're like if you were their aunt or you're their uncle, call them auntling or uncling. And I'm like, that's kind of cute, but it's also like, I
Otlin.
mean, all language is an invention, so like I don't really care. It's just like I think
Airs.
just heirs feels. I'm like
Hello, airs.
it's the path of least resistance for me.
But it's
You know?
also the idea that like we're spreading something on, like we're passing something on. The
Yeah,
heirs
and
to
not
whatever it might be.
yeah, not just passing on your nasty STDs anymore, you guys.
You guys, we're spreading the good news. I mean, how many people have said that about you and I
It's true every day in every way, full
every
of good
day?
news, of great joy, which shall be for all folks, all people.
Wonderful counselor.
Mighty
Prince of
glob, everlasting
Sorry,
water.
guys. We're probably activating everyone's trauma currently. That's fine.
Listen, I'm just here. I'm unashamed. I'm unashamed of the gospel. Okay, you ashamed of the
Well,
gospel,
okay.
Sarah?
So I'm playing guitar with this guy who's amazing, and he has had a lot of church tradition. He's in his late 60s, and he's like, "Well, I mean, like this is every worship chord," and he just starts playing, and I was like,
G
"What's?" I was like, "What song is that?" He's like, "It's not." I was like, "It's
G D
just."
E minor C.
Yeah, he was like, "I'm just teaching you." Well, and I knew how to play all those chords already, so he was like, "Well, you know how to play it because you." And he nailed it. I did only know how to play them because I used to be a youth pastor.
Hmm. And that's exactly like what I think is last. Funny enough, last night I was actually there is an Episcopal church in the area who has this online program called Imagine Church, and so they hire dope musicians and vocalists from the area to come in and like put together like kind of like an online work, like what's later going to be an online worship experience
Oh,
after they
that's
do
cool.
like I'm talking like top shelf videography and sound. So I just get to go in there and make really, really dope music. And let me tell you what, like, there's actually some really delicious musicianship that happens in those spaces, but it just gets covered up
Yes.
because of the genre. And now
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, because we play this like really delicious, like Caribbean Afro vibe
Ooh.
for this song, and then later dropped it into like the same C D E minor whatever thing.
Well, I'm currently
Um,
down, down, up, down, 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 up, down, down, down. Like the all
Ding
every
ding
worship song.
ding 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 ding
What
ding
is it
ding
there?
ding ding ding
Yeah,
ding ding ding
that's
ding.
where I'm at.
That's where you're at. And jang a jang is the sound that a strum is. If I had more time, I really wanted to put together a and maybe next week, next week is Christmas Eve. I am not going to be available to do a show. I'm just going to let you know right now.
What?
Next week is Christmas Eve. I'll be with my family.
We aren't going to show up in our jams? I'm just kidding. Of course, we're taking Christmas Eve off, my love.
I can't come. And I'm going. It's my intention this year. I have a holiday intention. My
Tell
intention
me what it
is
is.
I just want to have a nice time and not yell and not get upset. And like, not that my family has ever really yelled, but sometimes it's like it can be a little stressful.
Well, you've also had a lot of major pain around Christmas. So I'm proud of you this year
Mm.
for how you've just really leaned in, but you really have. You've leaned
Oh
into
yeah,
this
Christmas
season,
has not
made
like
your
I've
own
like
traditions.
yeah I've
I'm
got to
proud
say
of
like
you.
Christmas since college has been awful, pretty
Terrible.
much, with few exceptions. I will say like Christmas last year when I spent with Audrey and Miles, and then we had to get like
Oh
no
yeah.
we I was fine, but then like we had to go like isolate for 7 days because
Mhm.
we got a possible COVID exposure before the vaccine.
The
Oh, the
time.
before times. Speaking of vaccines, everyone, make sure you're going out and getting your boosters if you haven't already. As somebody
Mhm.
who got boosted myself, I can say give yourself 24 hours afterwards. You're gonna,
Yeah, it hit
you
you,
might
huh?
feel. I got it in the evening, and then my body was just awake and just And so, of course, that like
And then you forgot why, because you're like, I don't know what. And then all of a sudden you looked at me and you're like, oh, because I got my booster.
I got my booster. I didn't fucking sleep in the. Thankfully, all of my clients were really dope, and we all rescheduled for today because I had. It was like I had a lot more wide open space time. It's almost just like people aren't scheduling calls with me because it's the holidays. Thanks,
Almost
guys.
like, almost like, I know I had all of my clients. I think that's why this week was a bit busy because I had all of my clients within a
Oh,
week.
because next week I'm trying to take off as much as possible. I'll
I'm
probably
flying
work Monday and
home
Tuesday.
on Monday, flying to my parents.
Nice.
So it'll be great.
I'll be driving up on Tuesday.
I don't know why, but you saying Episcopalian. My mom loves this Facebook group called Episcopalian Cats. And it literally, have you heard of this?
No.
It is pretty funny, actually. It's all this like cat memes and cat conversation. Like, my mom loves her cat. She's like had dogs, and now she has this like cat who's a total asshole. And my mom loves this total
Mhm.
asshole of a cat. And she's always like defending her, like it's so cute. She's like, she's like, you know what? It's just that she's particular. And we're like, Mom, your cat is mean. Like, I love cats. But Mom, your cat's a jerk. But my mom's
Your
like,
cat's a
no,
jerk.
she's just particular. And we're like, is she?
And that's what people who are like, it's like, why are you caping for your abusive
In a bit
cat,
of an
mom?
abusive situation, yeah.
Yeah.
So aren't all cats assholes? Well, my friend, I saw this meme. I think it was on Episcopalian Cats. It's funny. It said, if you are an owner of two cats, one of your cats is an adorable idiot and the other one's planning a coup. And I
Mhm.
asked my friends who all have two cats, and the response was like, yes, and this one's this one, and this one's this one.
Mhm.
So there you go. Anyway, that was my input on Episcopalians as you were talking about. ADHD brains are fun because I'll be like,
Yeah.
oh, this draws this conclusion, which makes me think of this thing. So
I think our conversations are more interesting. I will say, like, because I feel like we've got the delicious talent of being able to bring it back around eventually.
eventually,
It's all related. Not
it
everyone is
is.
gifted in this way.
It's true.
I
Guys,
would like to get into current events,
me too.
drama,
Did you hear?
questions, answers,
Oh, yeah, I
and
have a lot of questions.
so yeah, let's start off with like unpacking what's going on in the world. Starting off, celebration of Betty White
Betty White's
being
turning 100, and we're all invited to her birthday party, guys.
100. She's 100 years old.
100 of the years.
And she's still funny and still kind of nice.
She is silly and funny, and the people that are coming to our birthday party are amazing. Of course, and she's beautiful. God, she's
Yeah,
beautiful.
and I don't think
Um,
she's uh I don't. I think she's like one of the like the oldest people in Hollywood who also hasn't had a problematic moment.
it's a little bit like I do kind of combine it a little bit in my mind with Dolly Parton in that they're like, yeah, I'm going to say the thing because I have worked my ass off to get here, and I deserve the right to say we're doing full LGBTQI
Mm,
inclusion. We're not talking about women like that. Like,
mhm,
and it's just like it's like an aunt. They're like a relative of ours that we're like, yeah, you're
mhm.
right. Good
Yeah.
point.
So kudos to Betty White. Thank you for staying alive. We're really
Like
grateful.
nobody's boycotting Dolly World, even though
No.
Dolly's like, it is full inclusion, and if not, you're an asshole.
And all
Like,
and everyone, and she's also just like, yeah, go get your fucking vaccine. And people are just like,
and I'll
Dolly
pay for it.
Parton's finally becoming political. I'm just like, that
Finally.
she's been advocating for gender equity and like equal place like payment in the workplace for so long. But the thing is just like she says it in a way where she's one of those people. She's like she's not someone who's debates anything.
No, she just
She
says
just
it as fact, which I think is genius, and Betty White's
no,
the
because
same
it
way.
is because
Right.
and that's the same way I work too. It's just like if I am wrong, I will find out. That's the
Yeah.
thing. I will.
Yeah.
I'm easily persuaded by good evidence,
Hmm.
and so it's like I'm not afraid of
Apologetics.
it.
Just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm sorry.
100%.
uh,
Anyways,
the next thing we need to talk about is Ben Affleck. Bless that baby.
I don't
Thinking
know what's happened because
so Ben Affleck was on being interviewed, and he said about he is someone who's living, I don't know if he's in recovery, but he's not drinking as much as he was when he was married to Jennifer Garner.
Mhm.
And his statement was, when I was in that being in that marriage made me drink a lot. And and they said, what if you were still with Jennifer Garner? He's like, I'd still be drinking. He didn't mean it in relation to her
Mhm.
necessarily. And like they've come out and said, but it basically, I don't know that he didn't mean it that way, but he made it sound like being married to Jennifer Garner caused him to drink. And it was
Mm-mm.
a terrible thing. And Jennifer Garner came out and was like, look, like we're guys, don't try to make us enemies. We're not.
Mm.
But I feel like it's like a look what you made daddy do moment where I feel like a lot of people within the male gender, have for so long gotten away with saying shit like my ball and chain or whatever, that we've normalized this idea that yeah, I had to drink because my marriage was difficult. Like it's just sort of like,
Yeah, it's just like,
own
no,
it, buddy.
it's like you took those drinks because you were struggling emotionally with your life
Yeah.
and you were unable to express it healthfully. That's what was happening. It's not I did
And
not
then
drink because my marriage was hard. I was drinking because I had a hard time dealing with my marriage. It was
right.
me. Your
And
marriage didn't make you do anything.
he's since come out and said, "Hey, like you cut out all the parts where I said how grateful I was for Jennifer and how we've done family together. Like you made it sound like I was
Mhm.
blaming her for our terrible marriage, but
Mhm.
we both tried really, really hard." And he's like, "And I was the asshole who drank." Like he has since come out, but I think the there is some truth to like people blaming other people for their actions, and I think that doesn't help you or
Mhm.
them, you know,
Ever.
ever. So Ben Affleck,
Get your shit
thank you
together.
for
It's like,
apologizing, but
yeah, thanks for apologizing and also just mm, it's one of people don't know how to speak until they know how to speak. So I just have to like everyone's on their journey, right?
everyone is yeah, everyone is.
Um
And I cannot imagine the pressure of having to like talk about a failed relationship. I've kind of experienced that in that like I was
mhm,
introduced at a church as someone who was getting married and he was in the band and we were together for almost 2 years. And so people knew who he was
mhm,
really well. And then uh I just started working at this church when he exited the relationship and 6 months later married someone else. And that was very obvious on Facebook and
mhm.
Instagram and all that. Hello, mania.
I
Um,
I just gotta say, like, anyone who gets ma I don't wanna say anyone because there's always that one wild
right.
exception to the rule.
8.
Um, but in most Western American context, I
Thank you.
just want to say that's a bad sign, and I wonder how long it's gonna last. Because like, I have, like, one of my friends who's just like, "Oh, I want a love story like my grandmother's story. Here it is. They met during World War II. They were on leave on Paris, and they met at the corner of this place, and they went out on a date, and they had such a good time, and he said, 'Meet me here 1 year from now,' and then they did, and then they went on 2 more dates and got married. But they no correspondence because he was off doing the
What?
war and shit." And I'm like, "That's crazy." And they're still married. An
You
Austrian
know,
nurse, an American soldier.
I mean, that I think is uh the exception, right?
Truly. And that's what I think, like, we need to talk about, just, like, most of your friends met on an app these days. They met
Oh,
out
every
somewhere
wedding
to, like
I've done lately met on an app.
yeah, just, like, I think, like, sometimes what we, like and how is that any less magical? That's the thing, is that we
I think
think
it's more magical because you had so many options.
exactly. And so maybe, I don't wanna, you know, just normalize all kinds of love stories, okay?
Okay.
Speaking of unrelated but related, I did watch the new Netflix gay rom-com Single All the Way,
I was
and
wondering if you were going to, because one
oh,
of our friends mentioned it. Somebody mentioned it. Did
I don't
Trey say they had just seen it? I can't
I can't
remember.
remember, probably. But either way, it is I mean, like, here's the thing. It is so very heavily white, which is
Is
like
it?
no I mean, it's a story of so, like, they have the white gay son brings his uh, lovely black gay roommate home with him, and then they realize spoilers. If you don't, it's a rom com. You know where this is headed, anyways. But just
Yeah, it's a Christmas rom-com. There's,
yeah,
like,
it's a Christmas
literally
rom
3
com.
plots totally. We, like, either they don't know they're communicating with this person, or they like bring someone home to pretend they're this thing, and then they actually
Yeah.
fall in love.
And then,
And
like,
that's
you know, in the thing, like, the mom actually sets the son up on a date with someone in the hometown. And also just, like, of course, like, it's because it's a rom-com. This is how it works. I'm just like, he's sexy, cool, fly, and, like, a personal trainer, and it's
of
like,
course
they
he is.
meet at the gym, and I'm like, Mom, what are you not like, this is like, now I have unhealthy expectations for my mom as a result of this movie. Like,
Mom,
"Mom,
get it together. Why aren't you working out, Mom?
aren't you going to the Y? Isn't there a trainer there that you can talk about me with?"
You
Like,
want a Y trainer? I feel like you're a little bit more like a
no, LA Fitness,
yeah, I was
baby.
just gonna
Of
say,
course,
or
like,
like a
there's not an
Equinox.
LA Fitness in fucking Jackson, Tennessee.
You're an Equinox. You're like an
Ugh,
Equinox, bitch.
God.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I am a Peloton gay, I know that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
know
you
that I'm a
are.
Peloton gay. I went to, my workout class the other day, and my trainer and I got to talk as I was wearing my Peloton tights, which it's my Peloton Pride tights because they were really
They're really
cute
cute. Oh, they're so
and
cute.
also incredibly well made. I'm like, oh, this is why people spend money on this kind of shit because like it's
Who is
nice.
wearing Lululemon leggings right now? This bitch.
Listen, if only. Listen,
Um,
I live in a flat. I have a live with a Lululemon state of mind, but with a Fabletics budget. You know what I'm saying?
that is 100%
That's where
both
I
of us.
live.
Also, so it's a very white movie.
Yes, yes, yes. It was I mean, and that's just, like, typical for, like, when they're creating queer content these days, it's kind of just pandering a little bit, but at the same time, I don't always mind being pandered to, and maybe that's just because sometimes I would just want something nice and fluffy to take my mind off the fact that the world is burning.
That's like
So,
we talked about holiday
yeah.
movies last week. That's like the one I loved, Holidates. That movie was like 100%.
Holidates?
Did you ever see it?
No.
Oh, it's good. It has Julia Roberts' niece in it, who is an adorable actress.
Gulia Roberts?
Her name is Julia Roberts.
I knew it. Gulia.
She is an heir of Julia Roberts, and she's adorable in this movie, and the guy is so hot, of course. It's
It's
just a
everything.
cute it's one of those, we hate each other. Oh, we love each other, but now we hate each other again. Do we end up together? There's a big dramatic scene.
It's always
You know,
just like, listen, I want them to fight and not end up together. I want it to be like, that's what I want.
that was the movie The Breakup, which I literally broke up with my boyfriend in the parking lot of The Breakup. We went and saw the movie The Breakup. Then
Back up, back up. This is a story worth telling. If you want to relive some trauma right now, that's up to you.
No, it's fine. We had been together, and we'd broken up once before. This was when I was like 26, 27, maybe. And he was a worship leader who also had been a Marine. Such a cool guy. We're friends now. And I think we were just two people who really wanted to love each other, but we just both of us weren't in a place where the other person made sense in some ways, I think. Like, he got kicked off staff for dating a female pastor from the church he was working at. Um, and which was cool. He stood up for me and said, "I refuse to say that women can't be pastors. I refuse."
Mm,
And then they were like, "Well, then you have to leave." So, yeah,
stupid.
right, good dude. So we had broken up the first time. It was Good Friday. It was raining. I went down to my garage and someone had
You
broken
broke
in
up
and
on Good Friday?
we did. Broke up. I go down to my garage. It's raining in California, which it never does. It was like a movie. Someone had broken into my garage and stolen everything out of my car, including at the time, like iPods were like the big thing. And my iPod was from when I was in seminary. So it had all of my music, thousands of songs that I love. So I was devastated. I'm
And you didn't have
crying.
it backed up, did you?
No. So I'm crying and he calls. I was like, my car was broken up. So it was the day after we broke up. And he shows up in the rain and just like does like this and hugs me. And like that's how we got back together.
Well,
So
that sounds
that was the
like a
first
very
time.
good.
So then we go to this, like, we start dating again. It's fine. It's great. He is actually a really wonderful. Speaking about guitar player, holy shit, is he good at guitar?
Mhm.
So we go to the movie The Breakup, and we're in the parking lot, and he looks at me and goes, "This is us, isn't it?" I said, "Yeah, we don't work." And he was like, "No." And I was like, "I guess we're done." He was like, Yeah.
And
And
that
that
kind
was
of that's nice. That's like in my opinion, that is the most. It's like when it seems just so perfectly obvious.
mhm.
That's how I want to feel about everything.
Yeah, it was one of those things where it was like I can't even remember what went on after that, but I remember just thinking like I had seen us on screen, two people who really wanted to love each other well and just couldn't make it work, and we had tried. I mean, and we'd had dramatic, where I'd show back up in my apartment and he's there and I'm like, "Oh," we'd had like 2 of those, and eventually it was like, "How many times are we gonna go around this thing?" Like,
Mhm.
we're gonna keep running into the same thing and neither of us are gonna be able to fit into it. So we broke up. So the joke is like I literally broke up after seeing the movie, The Breakup.
It's not even a joke. That's just what happened, Sarah.
It is what happened, but it was lovely. It wasn't trauma
It's
at all.
ironic. It's ironic and
It is ironic.
poignant
Isn't it?
even.
Isn't it ironic? Anyway, so
It
that's
rained on your
my
wedding day.
oh, it's like anyway, which turns out that's not actually irony, but we won't go into that. So the other thing we have to talk about, a legend passed away this week.
Bell hooks. We speak your name.
We do. I don't even know what she passed away from. She was 69.
Old. Just old age.
Not that old. My mom is
I mean, it's
older.
not that old, but also just like, you know. Bell hooks, if you don't know who Bell hooks is, queer icon, womanist icon, one of
Mhm.
the original. She was talking and teaching about the idea of healing justice before it was ever really in vogue.
Oh,
a,
totally.
a poet. Um,
You know her poetry without knowing you know her poetry.
mhm. And just an incredible queer black icon. And it was just like when I saw that, like I just saw like just tweets that just said bell hooks, and I was like, all right, like when you just see someone's name, it's all of a sudden it's just like, oh, don't make me Google it. And then I did, and there it
I
was.
had that reaction to seeing I w I had that reaction to seeing Betty White's name because they were talking about her turning 100, but my phone just said, how it does, like, today's top news or whatever.
Mm.
It just said Betty White, and I said, No," because I was so afraid it was gonna say that Betty White passed away.
It would have been, yeah. So bell hooks. If you don't know her work, go look up some of her poetry, and make
It's
sure
so
you
good.
spell bell hooks in all lowercase because that is how they spelled it.
Mhm. Such a cool name too, by the way, Bell Hooks.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm.
guessing it was a stage name, a writing name, or was
No,
that
that's the
actually her
that,
name?
no, that's the name they adopted as like a public figure and writer. Google it. There's a specific reason, and there's some black queer folks I know today who also own, like Adrienne Marie Brown also does lower cases for the
Oh,
same
that's
reason.
cool. Everyone look it up right
Um,
now. Well, listen to the rest of this and then go look it up.
yeah, but yeah, that's kind of what we've got going on as far as the public things are concerned.
I mean, there is
Um,
a lot going on. We guys, they're still trying to mandate vaccines and booster shots. Like Biden is taking it on the in the face for trying to get medical personnel to
it
agree.
blows my mind that there are medical professionals in the world who, I mean, like I read the open letter from the Minneapolis medical like a bunch of medical professionals talking about how like Minnesota in particular is incredibly overwhelmed. My friend's wife is a ER nurse,
Mhm.
and having like to tell people you're probably
It's
going to die.
terrible.
Like I have to put you on a ventilator and you might live, but you also might not wake up. To tell families like, oh, is there anything we can do? Yeah, you should have got the vaccine sooner. Like, and it just it's one of those things at this point where it's not that I don't have sympathy or compassion anymore. It's just that I understand clearly what is happening. And because I understand, I have absolute clarity. And I also understand that other people's choices are not my fault anymore.
I think there is. some argument for like people of the year really should, like the cover of Time should really be all of our healthcare providers. Like my friends are going through so much trauma. We use that word a lot, but going through so much trauma.
I mean, the 800,000 people have died in 2 years.
And it's still an idiot on an airplane wearing a thong on his face because he thinks it's absurd that he should have to wear a mask, and forcing the flight, attendants to have to like ask you to leave. Like,
Yeah, it's like we've been doing this long enough to where, like, even if you don't wanna get vaccinated, like, I'm not gonna yell at you about things, but I'm also not gonna have any sort of sympathy when, like, businesses start to say, like, "Hey, like, for the public safety." Like, that's the thing, it's like, it's not even,
mhm.
like, me that I'm super worried about. I got boosted.
No, we're boosted. We're good for,
Like, I'm just
mhm.
like, "But you are going to go home to your grandma who doesn't watch the news."
You're working here during the holidays. You're already,
Mm,
you're already stressed, and I'm going to come in and make you explain this to me.
like,
Like, no.
get out of here. So
Yeah.
if I were to read anybody this week, it'd be all the people who are doing that. Although, again, I live in Atlanta. It's not so bad around here. Everyone I hang out with is vaccinated
Yeah.
because
Yep.
that's literally kind of just where I hung my hat. Um, I was talking with my therapist one time about like someone I knew or know, and I was like, it's like this person is someone I love, and they're not an idiot, and yet they feel very skeptical
Yeah.
about the vaccine. And I understand why they understand skeptical about the vaccine. And at the same time, I feel like I hate to say that I feel like I've lost respect for them in some
Mm.
ways. And I don't like that feeling.
This made me think of a funny comment that happened to me last night. So I was hanging out with the folks that I was paddleboarding with, and we all went to pizza afterwards. And we were talking, and I said something, and the guy next to me goes, "Wait, what? How old are you?" I was like, "I'm 41." And he goes, "I thought you were 31." He goes, "This changes my perspective on you completely." And I was like, "I don't know what that means." And I've been trying to think through, what does that mean? He's the same age, so he's in his
Mhm.
mid, like, and he was like,
I
"I
mean,
don't know. I feel like 31
that's
and
10.
41 is so different."
It's just experience. It's
Mhm.
pure like 10 years. Like, there is a huge difference between 32 and 22.
I'm just afraid he's like, "I thought you'd be further along than you are."
See, that's the story you're putting on top of
I
that.
know, I
It
know,
just
I
it
know.
just he didn't say it changes, like, it just changes things. I see you differently.
It
Which
does.
also, like, every single encounter makes people see you differently.
That's
Probably.
true.
Maybe.
Um, all right, you ready for questions from people? I thought that we've got a really cute one. Are you
I'm
ready?
ready. Just so you know, every day before the show on our Instagram stories, we post things for questions, and you can also send questions to askyourfavoriteants@gmail.com. And before we keep going, please make sure you subscribe,
Yes,
and
please.
like the show and share the show, because that is the greatest way to share this stuff with all of us, especially going to the new year. Some really cool shit is going down, and you're gonna want to be a part
I'm
of
so
it.
excited about our new year.
I am too. I really just want to
It's
get
so
here.
true.
I'm
Airs.
starting to work on
Airs.
I'm trying to work on planning out some retreats and some possible like more live events, because
I love that.
and also I want to do some sort of like prototype queer camp, like small version, small queer camp.
I well, I want to save it to the end, but I don't want to save it to the end. Your merchandise that came out this week, I can't stop thinking about it. It's so
Oh
good.
yeah, that came out this week. I'm really 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 pleased with it.
And I
It's
would
very
love, we need airs. We need airs merchandise.
oh my god. If you're a fan of the show, you're one of our heirs now.
Hmm. You can have all the things that I have, which is like, I'm not bequeathing you very much,
The
guys. I'm
thing is, all
sorry.
I have is yours already.
Also, bequeath feels like a weird word to say, but there we go.
Anyways,
Um, okay, so
what are our questions this
this is
week?
an
What's the
adorable
advice that we're
question.
doling out?
So someone said, "I would love for you guys to talk about Christmas pageants, and if you have any funny Christmas pageant stories."
Oh, do I ever.
Okay.
I Okay, so in my family, I grew up with my mom was the one of the music people at the church. She also was in charge of the children's Christmas cantata every year.
Yes. Okay.
My mom would go to the Christian bookstore and listen to all of these, like, basically, like, musical in a box. They provided the script and the soundtrack, and your kids just had to learn the lines and the songs and make up the motions, and you can make the costumes. It was a fucking production. My mom had casts of, like, 30 and 40 kids. We all memorized our lines, all memorized the songs. Like, it was a time. Like, Wednesday nights, we spent practicing our lines and running scenes and making costumes. And so from kindergarten through about 6th grade, I played some form or role in the children's Christmas cantata. I had lead roles, I had side roles. I played everything from the innkeeper who turned Mary away to the Archangel Gabriel. I played Elvis. I played one of the three wise men. I played one of the Starship Explorers during Journey to the Center of Christmas, which was a Star Trek themed
Stop it.
Christmas play.
Stop it.
And when I tell you we had the gag, like we had lights.
We had the
So it said
gag.
energize. Listen, like they said, like, energize or whatever they're supposed to say, and like the lights flashed and they went out and they would run backstage and get in the other place, and then lights would come back up. Whoa.
Stop it.
Stage magic.
Um, I love that. I love that, like, your mom was like, "No, this is the time. This is when
My
we're gonna
mom
do
gave
her
she
best."
my mom really made stars out of these kids,
Ugh.
and parents
I
fucking loved it.
I could not stop I've got several pageant. I just sent you a photo. I was in graduate school when my church asked me to perform in the Christmas pageant as the Christmas cow.
The Christmas cow is what they called it.
Uh-huh. So I was this Christmas cow, had really cute little fun lines, but I was in graduate school playing a cow. Or maybe I might have actually been like 27 when I played this Christmas cow. So I just sent you a photo of this because
Yeah, and I
my
think
parents look like they are so proud of me.
because your parents are so proud of you. Let's just take a moment.
If you are listening to this, guys,
Like, please take a moment to tune
take a
in. Like,
moment
you
to
go
see
the marker is at 43 minutes,
and just
and just
see.
look at this beauty. Can we can
Like,
we can we zoom
how
in?
was I single? How was
Let's
I?
just, like,
Oh my
let's
gosh, do
clock
Christmas cows give eggnog, Willie ass? I didn't have udders. I didn't, but I was wearing like a fur vest situation.
fur
Um,
vest, black sweater. What's the hoof situation here?
and
Like,
just like
what's
little,
those?
they were like faux fur mitts that my mom had. Um, this is a whole look. This is a
I
whole
mean,
look,
it's
guys.
truly
When you're
truly so.
27, you should not be in a Christmas pageant.
I mean, oh my god, here's a story. I was again, when you're in 7th grade, you should not be in a Christmas pageant ever. But my mom's like, none of the kids are old enough to memorize these lines, and like it would just be doing this. And I kept screwing up the lines, and then I got nervous. And instead of saying the best present of all is Jesus, I said the breast present of all is Jesus. And I laughed at myself, and so did everybody else because I said breast in church. The breast present of all is Jesus. Oh my god. See, and I still remember all these goddamn lines.
Oh, they get stuck in your head.
Because I
I
was my spongy years. I'm just like, why is my head filled with all of these stupid knockoff Christian Christmas songs and not like cool things like, I don't know, like sports facts or like early 1990s, late 90s, early 2000s R&B references.
oh, I that's my jam.
See,
I can help you
that
with
would
that.
be helpful, but instead I've got Journey to the Center of Christmas.
If you find a photo of that, will you please text it to
Oh,
me?
I don't just have a photo. I have the videos of every single one.
I cannot wait. When
Yeah.
I went to my friend's house for Christmas a couple years ago, so I'm friends with a brother and sister, and his dad was like, "You need to see Logie in every Christmas pageant," and he literally like made us
Pulled
watch
out
all
the
the because
VHSs.
well, he just digitized them all to DVD. So
We
he was like,
digitized all our stuff too.
so he was like, "Look at Logan." I'm like, "Oh my gosh, poor Logie." Look, you should write a Willie says, Kevin, you should write a queer Christmas pageant. I think that's what that movie was that you saw.
Oh, but wait a second.
Uh-oh. A
There's
drag Christmas pageant?
Oh, absolutely. So this is something that like we were like me and a couple other people were thinking like definitely a drag Easter pageant that focuses on like not the passion, but the like everything, the Easter, the resurrection, Mary
Oh,
Magdalene.
yeah,
And then
obviously.
also like a Christmas story that also focuses on Mary, the mother of God.
Ooh.
Like just like how cool would it be to create like and like here's like I actually had this idea a long time ago and like it's just popping back up into my head. But I had this idea for like a very minimalist like Christmas pageant situation that was like really well staged and just a lot of really really good vocals. But like, was and by well staged I mean it was like everything's minimal, everything is just like blocked colors, but just really really good music and storytelling. That's simple.
Mhm.
Um I don't know. I've always got creative ideas. It's just a matter of having time, budget, personnel.
Yeah,
Um,
I think the idea I think twice I've done like a Christmas, like kind of like making you sort of think about your like the way you think about like the precious I call it like the precious moments Christmas crush where you like see everybody looks so nice and they're white and a little bit, And so one year we did this really cool thing where we painted on a triangle, which is going to be hard to understand except when you walked one way. So when you walked into the church, the image that you were seeing huge was like a Christmas like nativity scene that you'd think of, like cute little baby sleeping, whatever. And it was so cute. So when you walked this way, but when you walked out of church, you saw a pregnant teenager.
mm,
And then it was like the whole idea was like you come in what if you came into church to hear the truth instead of like the thing that we so often want to talk about is like that there's like a war on Christmas. I almost wore a shirt that I have that my sweet niece bought me that says, "Go Jesus, it's your birthday." Oh, Christmas shirt. I know, and it's
that's
definitely it
really
says Christmas, but Christ is really big. Um, which that's cute. But I think
listen.
there's
I just want to
this
keep Christ in Christmas.
right. Well, Xmas is actually X is actually the right way to
If
write
you
Christ.
write Xmas, it's because you don't love Christ. You're trying to.
Which actually, like, if you know your Greek, anyway, it doesn't matter. Point being, I think we kind of have made the story sort of cute and warm and fuzzy, and it is. It's a in some ways, but it's also like a pretty like radical story,
And also
and like a
gruesome.
lot of cool women,
Yeah, and also gruesome. Can we talk about
super gruesome.
like Harry's like, okay, go out there and kill all the children. You
Hmm.
know, it's
Yeah,
one of
that
those
part kind of
things.
gets skipped, huh?
Oh, all the time. I'm just like so my mom, even from a young age, this is like how like later in life I'm realizing my mom was kind of a dope theologian before I even recognized it. She's like, you got to recognize like she was like my mother's always kind of been a Marian mystic for a while. I'm realizing it's because she's like I just know that as a mother, like I like to protect my child, I would do anything. I said, and like there were all these mothers out there that night who lost their child at the hands of like she wouldn't say at the hands of the powerful state, but she said at the hands of sinful men, which was the difference, really.
Go mom. I do kind of love that your mom is like way more radical than she would ever. And I mean, she's done such incredible things.
It's really interesting. Hey, mom, if you're listening, I know you're not. Thanks for being
I know.
cool.
That's why I feel like I could share that photo because I feel I'm pretty sure my parents don't listen to this. No, they wouldn't listen to this podcast. My mouth is too
No.
dirty on it.
Yeah, my mom, your mom, she gets, it's not that she gets mad when I say a blue word. I can just tell that
My
she doesn't
mama,
like it.
she just gets a little nervous. She just gets a little nervous
She's
for
like,
you.
"Oh, he said that. All right."
I
Oh,
mean, she cusses, but it like she's like really good at like peppering
she's
you
like, it's
in.
like the food pyramid for her. It's used sparingly,
Yeah.
at the
Yeah.
top, and
It's
I'm
at
over,
the very top.
and I'm over here. I'm just like the
You're
food pyramid.
salting. You're just salting everywhere.
No, I just don't believe the food pyramid is an accurate way that I should live my life. Because
uh,
you know what, the pyramids were symbol of slavery. I'm sorry.
so guys, point being, Christmas pageants, hilarious for children, uncomfortable for adults.
The only Christmas like pageant situation. I don't really enjoy a pageant, but I do enjoy a great choral work.
Oh, yeah.
I I don't want to listen to Messiah at Christmas time because it's not written for Christmas. Messiah was written for uh Easter.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
And
that and
he
then
shall reign
forever and
forever.
ever and ever. And do I have like I have the whole thing memorized. Like I just like because of college, we sang it every fucking year. And she said, you can have the book, but it's just better if you memorize it now. You're gonna sing this every single year of your contemporary music life.
Oh, I mean, but yay, because it's a good song. A good song. It's a good song.
Yeah,
That's
it's a
how
great
I.
song.
It's a good song. That's how I.
Hall- Hallelujah.
Halle. Well, I remember that's how we learned egg shell for glorious. Oh, wait, is it
In Excelsis Deo.
an egg shells these days instead of? Sorry, guys. We are
Yeah, we're all
hilariously my entire. So I grew up in a town in Canada when I was until I was 14, and every year we had a giant Christmas pageant, like giant Christmas pageant. Everyone participated, Christians, non-Christians, everyone came. It was beautiful, great memories around it. My brother and I played the same role for many, many years, where our grandmother would tell us the story of Christmas. She pulled out this big Bible, and because my brother and I could both memorize lines from the time we were tiny, tiny children.
wow, wow,
So
wow.
and then as we got older, we'd have different roles. So my dad was a shepherd every year. And my dad and the town like high school principal, and then also the town pharmacist, no, lawyer. They were all like super good friends. And now that I think
You
about it,
just
they were
have
like,
like town lawyers and shit.
I had a time, I'm from a tiny, they literally filmed the what's it, like Christmas night movie, Silent Night or whatever that movie was with the anyway, last year in my hometown in Canada. It's like it literally is a storybook. So they they like kind of like would kind of cut up a lot, and the pharmacist's wife was the one who always like and she's from Toronto, the big city, and she'd always try to like put on this amazing performance, and it always was amazing, but we always screwed with her like the whole time. She was great. My dad would they'd always say and they went with haste, and my dad would always say just loud enough that the mic would just barely catch it. Who's haste? Every year. Every year. And every year during rehearsals, she'd be like, Bob, don't say who's haste. And he'd still say it. Then the pharmacist
Who's
was like,
next?
who's haste? Was a wise man and had to sing the We Three Kings of Orient are. Go with haste. Who's
Who's
haste?
next?
That's my dad. I
I
know.
love your dad so much.
I know. He's so funny. He's
Who's
like,
next? It's so
and they went
stupid.
with haste. Who's haste? That's like a memory I have as a kid. It's my dad just screwing up the
Okay, I'm
Christmas
sorry
pageant.
to just get stuck on that, but that was too funny to me.
Yeah, Papa. The other thing is that this the pharmacist could not remember the lines, so he was singing "We Three Kings of Orient Are," and he was like, "I don't know the words to this song," and he sang it about like how his wife made him be in this play, like this whole thing. It
In
was
front of
so.
everyone?
Oh yeah, full performance, full stage singing.
He said, I'm gonna embarrass the shit out of my wife, and she'll never make me do this ever again.
That's what happened. And that's my memory of it. Now, maybe it's like, legend that like, maybe that didn't, maybe it was dress rehearsal or something like that. But I remember just as a kid being like, oh, you can't do that.
Ah,
So
and yet
those are
they
our
could
tiny
and
town.
did.
The tiny town of Gravenhurst, Ontario, Canada. A beautiful little, Google it. Someone said they didn't like Googling things, but yeah, I come from a very cute little town. And now
Well,
it's got really expensive houses in it because Wayne Gretzky has a summer home there.
well, fuck you, Wayne.
No way, dude. Wayne is a national treasure.
I don't know who Wayne Gretzky is. Is that bad?
He's like the best hockey player that's ever lived. He's literally called the Great
Yeah.
One. You know, the whole
Well,
like, if you don't take like you miss all the shots you don't take, that was Wayne Gretzky said that.
I thought that was Jesus.
And then my friend and I decided we were going to come up with our own saying, which, you can't, the whole idea of like, we said you'll never miss a shot you don't take because like, if you think about it, if you don't take it, then you don't
Yeah.
fail.
Yeah, I think there's a native saying that is, while hunting, if you aim at nothing, you hit nothing.
Mm-hmm. Wayne Gretzky stole it.
Appropriated it. Made it a hockey puck thing.
A hockey puck thing. I know
Fuck
you're trying
you, Wayne
really hard.
Gretzky, and your high prices, you driving things up, gentrifying Canada.
Actually, now that we're bringing that full circle back to Fabletics, the other person who has a cottage share is Kate, whatever, who does Fabletics.
Blanchett?
No.
I don't know who does it. Kate Beckinsale?
No, not Winslet.
Kate.
Someone help us in the comments. We're drowning.
No one knows. Anyways,
Hudson.
we're coming. Kate Hudson.
Yes, guys, we're rounding the corner.
We're rounding the corner because you got to get to an appointment, and
I do. I got to get my foot out like an old lady.
Yeah, have fun with that. Any Christmas wishes before we go?
I think, yeah, I'm hoping. I don't know. I think this year is going to be a lot of fun. It's a year where we can start to get back together with family. Hopefully, guys, be safe, be wise.
Please
don't
get
go
boosted,
crazy,
babies.
Please get boosted. Get excited about our new year. I've got a new podcast coming out in January, so that's exciting. A couple weeks to get that ready. Yeah, I don't know. 2022, guys. My whole thing, I think, is true is that the 2000s were drunk during 2021 because they were 21 years old. So like during 2020, they just started drinking and acting irresponsibly. 2021, they were drunk the whole time because they were legal. I'm hoping in 2022, the 2000s get it together.
That's I'm ready. I'm ready for the roaring 20s. You know?
Yeah, same.
I'm ready for the roaring 20s. So, we will see you next. Let's look at the calendar real quick. I want to make sure that our dates are right. Where is my calendar app?
I think we almost have 2 weeks off because I'll be out of town. Oh, I can still do it. Never mind.
Oh, goodness. We have a New Year's Eve show.
New Year's Eve day.
Yeah. Listen, come join us on New Year's Eve. Tell your friends. We'll do vision boardings. We might even have musical guests. We don't know.
We don't know.
I might have I don't know.
Who's around? Oh, you're telling me someone's staying with you.
No, no, I don't. I'm not insinuating anything. I'm literally just trying to get people hyped. Saying what I might have. I'm not going to tell you what I have planned or what I've got confirmed or not confirmed. I'm just telling you what they might be.
Oh, anyways, so exciting.
Have fun at your
miss you next
appointment,
week.
everyone.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas time. Happy holidays. Remember, don't sing. If you're a man, you're not allowed to sing "Mary, Did You Know" in church.
Oh, yep. That song just in general.
I mean,
not a fan. Mary knew.
I mean, I can, if a woman is singing it and like connecting it with the power of femininity and womanhood, I'm down for that. Cause like maybe she's like, hey, Mary, did you know that like your pregnancy was more than just because like maybe It's like a woman exploring, like discovering the power of Mary, and Mary's just like, yeah, I did. And it's like, wow, like just kind of like it feels like
Okay.
a reverent. It feels reverent when a woman
Okay.
sings it to me. But when a dude
Okay.
sings, it's like, Mary, did you know? And I'm here to save you and tell you that you're such a good woman. You think that the
Mary
woman who
knew.
encountered, you think that the woman who had God Almighty overshadow her with her consent, who could take on the presence of the holy, you think that she didn't know what she was doing, that she didn't know what was
God
going to go
bearer.
down? Get out. People,
Theotokos.
Theo tacos. Listen, for my Christmas Eve dinner, I'm having Theo tacos.
Theotokos. Theotokos.
All right, everyone. We'll see you New Year's Eve. Wear something gold and pretty. Until next time, take your meds, call your person, shake your ass, eat something delicious. That's it.
And I know this can be a hard time, so make sure you're reaching out to the people that you consider family. And we are so proud to have you as our heirs.
Yep. Goodbye, everyone.